You have a crazy car story about prices, drop a comment below. Man, I'll tell you, I'm looking at some of these prices and they're talking about the used car market softening, and I'm not believing it because what I think is there's a lot of cars on the market now. There's a lot of cars on the lots. It's just not a lot of the cars you want to buy. Like, they talked about the G Wagon shortage, for example. I mean, think about it. This thing's got 7,000 miles on it. It's a 2019. Call it 3 years old right now, 2022. 214,000 for a 3-year-old G Wagon. Man, not happening. Um, I'm not. I can't do it. I'm looking around and I know this is the market, but this is insane. And then if you're into car culture, people used to buy. There's two kinds of people that they wouldn't touch a Maserati after it was 2 or 3 years old because it was out of warranty or whatever. Um, and then there's the people that wanted to buy a Maserati when it's out of warranty because the prices got really cheap. Now they're still selling a 2018. This thing's got about 20,000 miles on it. 2018 GT convertible, which is this and the coupe, my favorite coupe of all time. If they wouldn't have had that really dated interior, I would buy one. I would buy a used one. I would throw it in the car collection in the warehouse, and then I wouldn't. My favorite coupe, hands down. I can't stand the interior. The center console is just blah. They got rid of this car. I think it's a mistake. They're probably saying, well, they're not selling that good. I'll tell you a good example of this. Buffalo Wild Wings by my house years ago used to sell something called a buffalo chip, which is like a little bit thicker sliced potato, not like a potato chip, but a little thicker, as like a French fry type of slice. They stopped selling them, and I remember asking somebody up there, well, why'd you stop selling them? And then they go, well, people weren't buying them. And I'm like, well, I tried telling them, like, well, people weren't buying them because you guys, it went to 3 or 4 different Buffalo Wild Wings, and that often in the last 15 years. I'm like, people stopped buying them because you weren't cooking them right. They were either super overcooked and super crispy, or they were undercooked, like raw ass potato. And I don't know, I was talking to a manager or whatever, and like, oh, I don't know. That's one of those things I see people make these mistakes where they go, oh, people don't want it. I'm like, no, because people don't ever tell you this. They don't ever tell you. I was talking to someone one day about their business, and I'm like, man, you really need to update the photos on your Google My Business. And they're like, well, no one's ever said anything to me. And I'm like, have you looked at them yourself? And they're like, no. Well, go look. And they're like, oh, that's god awful. These photos are terrible. It's like, well, but no one ever says anything. It's like, well, I'm telling you. I'm also telling you because most people won't tell you. They just won't. They either won't come to your business or they won't come back. So that was Buffalo Wild Wings. They got rid of the buffalo chips, not because people didn't want them. They stopped buying them because they were never cooked right. So Maserati's probably sitting back saying, oh, people weren't buying this car. We got to get rid of it. No, the outside was great. They weren't buying it because the interior looked like it was from a 1987 computer. Like I'm on a Commodore VIC 20 right now or something, or a 3 to 6 Packard Bell with, like, I don't know, 4 megabytes of RAM. That is what the, like, center console and electronics looked like in the GT coupe. And then now we don't have it anymore, and it was the best looking coupe of all time in my opinion. But anyways, that ran aside. They're now selling these things for $100,000. Come on. Like, you used to be able to pick these things up pretty cheap, especially when they get 3 or 4 years old. Like, we're going on 4 years old. We are 4 years old here. $100,000, and I'm going back to the G Wagon. Like, dude, come on. 214 for a 3-year-old G Wagon with 20,000 miles on it. Hey, another car I don't want to own outside of warranty, by the way. Man, I'll go buy like 2 new Range Rovers. Maybe you can't get a Range Rover. Anyways, have you seen any crazy car prices? There's a dealer down the street from me. I mean, I know Dodge Demons are expensive, but they're selling a Demon down there for $150 right now. It's like, I ain't spending $150 on a Demon. I'll spend $200 and get. There's a lot of other stuff I'd rather buy. It's that thing I have about, if you look at economics and marketing and inflation. let's just say that, Little Caesars pizza's, whatever, $6 now, and a Subway sub is $6 or $7 for a foot long. I don't know what their prices are. As they start getting more expensive, you start to say it's not worth it anymore. If you see something like, if Subway ends up becoming a $6 foot long, if it ends up becoming a $10 foot long, regardless of what inflation and what wages are, you start thinking, I ain't spending $10 on Subway. You'll go spend $14 on a Jersey Mike's or a Jimmy John's or something like that. It's kind of the same way I feel about cars, like $1.50 on a Demon. I'm well aware of what it is and what it can do, and the horsepower and the 0 to 60 in a quarter mile time. I'm not spending it on that. I'd either build a car, I'd build a cool street truck, I would do something for $1.50, or I would just spend more. Like my reference with Subway, and I'm going to spend $10 on a foot long at Subway. I'm just going to spend $14-15, and I'm going to Penn Station and get a Philly cheesesteak. If I'm going to spend $150 on a Demon, I'm going to spend $200 or more on something that I think offers more value. They also got one of those Dodge TRXs up there. I think they're trying to sell that for like $120,000. I saw a year or two old Raptor for sale for over $100,000. So yes, used car prices are coming down, but it's coming down on all the stuff nobody wants. G-Wagons, the cool pickup trucks, any limited edition cars, especially exotic cars. The Porsche market right now, I think if you look at the 964s or even 993s, that market right now is hot as hell. Anything that's like cool is still super hard to get and overpriced. And maybe the prices on Honda Accords are coming down. I don't know. But it seems like there's no end in sight right now. I could have swore I read there was no or very limited G-Wagon production this year or last year. This ain't getting any better. And the thing is, the people that have money, they got a lot of money. They made a lot more money in the last 2 years. And even if things slow down, the top 20% have so much money now that the Rolex market, you can't even get a Rolex right now. They've been sold out for I don't know how long. It's still very tough, and it's getting worse. That top 20%, even if there's a pullback or a recession or something, they got so much cash now from the boom, they're going to keep buying all this stuff. So I don't know if we're going to see the supply chain issue let up. Same way with heavy-duty trucks. If you follow my channel, I've had a 2022 F-250 King Ranch Tremor on order for 9 months now, something like that. I ordered it back in September. Got annoyed, and I just told the dealer to cancel the goddamn thing because I don't want to buy the last 2022 Ford F-250. Like, I might as well just wait and order a 2023 and repeat the process. 2,500 trucks, diesel, still hard to find. So, yeah, you can probably find a 1,500 on the lot somewhere. Probably pay full ticket price for it. But heavy duties, the high spec trucks seem to be hard to get. Anything that's got the extra stuff that required more semiconductors, more electronics, harder to get. You can't even get them at all. So I don't know if I see this going away anytime soon. But again, $215 for a 3-year-old G-Wagon. No way, man. No way. Also, what happens is people that bought the houses at the top of the bubble, they bought the cars at the top of the bubble, are they not going to pay a crazy price when this demand breaks loose and there is a pullback? I mean, they might not care. I don't want to be the guy that bought the 2019 G-Wagon for $215, and then 2 years later, who knows what it's worth, $125. I don't know. Same one thing with that Maserati and a lot of these other cars out there. Nah, man, I'm gonna sit tight. I'm still looking at some classics. I'm working on building up a 1950 Mercury pickup truck. Throw a Predator in there, maybe throw a bigger Charger on it, shoot for 1,000 horsepower, like some fun stuff like that. I'm just not going to get involved in this market buying this type of stuff. Anyways, if you have a crazy car shopping experience, if you overpaid, I recently sold my 2018 GMC Duramax Denali. I got so much money for it, there was steam coming off the top of my head. Granted, I bought a slightly used 2022 Denali Duramax, and I didn't love the price because of the market, but I got so much goddamn money for my 2018, there's no argument here. So if you have a crazy car story, drop a comment below.